Robbie, what's going on, mate?
You said that doing a crypto DJ anthem would be good for my brand.
Listen, it's just a PR kerfuffle. Stacey's on
it. I've only got 48 hours to leave the country. I'm a sitting duck here, bro.
I'll get the Rolls Royce to meet you down in downtown.
Hurry the fuck up.
Don't worry, we'll flip this around.
All right, cool.
The following message is not to be taken lightly by traders. This is not financial advice.
Stacking a whole lot of Bitcoin, stacked a whole lot more Satoshis. Gambled it all on the crypto DJ, Web3 meme coin tokens. Spending a whole lot of E from designer, altruistic, that's my motive. Wall Street cheat sheet, no emotions, we call this thing fliponomics. I hate the hodl, Elliott waves, what the maxi squabble. Too much yield up in these honeypots, so we arbitrage it with our AI models. What it's like to get ahead of college, flip a grand into $1 million profit. What it's like to go fire your boss, then hire him and put him in office. Fuck them up, I'm so degen, I'll just tug her up. Dissatisfied with these liquidations like they wasted money on some rub and tugs. Fundamentals be not adding up, we market making almost every day. For margin call is like being on drugs. Leverage it, push it all the way. Cup and handle, higher highs, it's oversold. On the other side, golden crossing, that's alright. Watch it rise, economics, volume dropping, lower highs. So report on the other side, we gon' short it, that's alright. Double topping, economics. We slipped up here, trade went backwards. Chase some candles, chase some dragon. Not a trace of substance, but retracements happen. Not if you trade this back. Shut up, I be the one to be flipping the bags. Put the whole team on, getting ridiculous stacks. Got us to England and back, plug me in. Stacking a whole lot of Bitcoin, stacked a whole lot more Satoshis. Gambled it all on the crypto DJ, Web3 meme coin tokens. Spending a whole lot of E from designer, altruistic, that's my motive. Wall Street cheat sheet, no emotions, we call this thing fliponomics.
Bought it for 2, sold it for 65.
That's 3,100%.
About to get an airdrop tonight.
Like a whole year worth of rent. Online you'll see me invest. If anyone knows how to dump this shitcoin token, I'll cut you in on 50%. Make sure you DM me privately. Warren Buffett thinks he's so smart, value investing. Benjamin Graham's a nerd. How can I be so fucking wealthy with his portfolio? Straight up made a turd. This shit ain't money if money ain't shit. Use my logic 1,000%. Leaves my profit 10,000%. How I pocket a 20x is a profit and then some. And retire with an anthem. I have financially set up my great grandson. Cup and handle, higher highs, it's oversold. On the other side, golden crossing, that's alright. Watch it rise, economics, volume dropping, lower highs. So report on the other side, we gon' short it, that's alright. Double topping, economics.
Robbie P could not make it today, unfortunately, and I'm way less cool and stylish than him. I couldn't help myself but play that. It is called Fliponomics by Robbie P. You can find his YouTube channel on YouTube, and he's on all kinds of other places. When I have him on, he's going to reschedule, and we're going to talk all about it. He probably is going to rap and play some live music for me. And anyway, I couldn't help myself there. Sorry, Robbie, if I stole kiked your show there, but that's one of my favorite songs on his most recent album, Dread Pirate Robbie. It's out very recently up on YouTube. You can find it on there. So anyway, thanks for indulging me there. Wanted to play that one. I am going to read something way less flashy. This is an article that I wrote about why Bitcoin is not crypto. This is an article I started on a few years ago, kind of polished it up a couple of years ago. And because I was thinking about stuff, and when I was explaining things to family and friends and others, and they'd be, and you hear it all the time today, just like, oh yeah, you're into crypto, right? And I'm like, I used to be kind of like, kind of, but Bitcoin's different. Now I just say, nope, not into it. I don't do crypto at all, categorically. Don't do crypto. I call it shitcoin. Shitcoin and crypto are not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something wholly different. Let me tell you why. So that's why I wrote this. I'm going to read it to you because I can't riff like Robbie does live like this and be all that interesting or cool. So here we go. Bitcoin is not crypto. Is Bitcoin a member of the crypto family? No. Why not? How are they different? To look for differences between Bitcoin and crypto is to presume there are meaningful commonalities to contrast. They are, however, wholly different species. I throw memes in here because I think I'm funny and these relate. This is from Star Trek. Are you two friends? And then there's Bitcoiners and shitcoiners. And I think shitcoiners think, oh yeah, we're friends with Bitcoiners. Actually, we're Bitcoin maxis too, but even maybe better or more eccentric or more smarter than the market and smarter than things. Bitcoiners say no. So this would be like comparing native grassland to a landfill. One could say that both are made of organic material or that both have soil, but it is cringe to lend crypto even that much credence. For example, by saying that Dogecoin was, quote, based on Bitcoin's source code. Yeah, there's a lot to say about that. You could also transplant grass onto an active landfill, but you do not want to set up camp there. So the perception being that like Bitcoin is part of crypto. And then there's fiat. Fiat being backed by what? Proof of war and empire and all the things that have worked forever and will forever work. The reality being that Bitcoin stands alone. Bitcoin is more than just money. It is property. It is the kind of property that you can move like money. You can store for the hardest property value you could ever store anywhere. And all the things. It's novel. Whereas crypto is a little bit of what fiat is and always has been. And crypto wants to fiatize, make fiat Bitcoin. Crypto loves to take Bitcoin and say, hey, let's make it fiat. The general term crypto means categorically any implementation and every flavor of all shitcoin scams. Many crypto projects make an effort, honestly or not, to tell some sort of story about their use case legitimacy. This is simply shielding the creator's underlying financial interests. Such crypto consists of contrived and faked up solutions looking for problems we don't have. Bitcoin has already solved the problem. In some cases, the crypto founder's intent may be naively honest, to store and distribute data on a verifiable public ledger. Unfortunately, these are all infected by the greed of underlying shitcoinery. And to be honest, most all of the great plague of shitcoinery is known, conscious scams. At best, they're deluding themselves. At worst, they know it's a scam and maybe unethically, they're just like, well, hey, if you fall for it, bad on you, good for me. Haha, I'm so smart. That's why I hate the shitcoins. Oh, there's an ad in this Medium. Oh, that's cool. Why is there always the need to have a token? Why does the token need to hold some fiat value? Why is there a push to list them on exchanges? Why are there millions of them? When I first wrote this, there were like maybe 10 or 12,000 of them. And I had written that like, why are there 10,000 of them? Well, how things have changed. Why are there millions of them? Well, I could go into why, but to summarize, it's because they are all heaping piles of stinking rotten garbage sitting together in a singular fiat landfill. At best, they are unregulated securities doomed to be co-opted by government regulation while still posing as digital fiat. I also wrote this during the Gary Gensler era, and there was a lot of things about, oh, what is even Bitcoin? Is it a security? Is it a commodity? How do we regulate it? How do we define it? What do we? We're still waiting on a lot of that to this day. It's like the posture in government is funny, but there has been some clarity. At the time, I think even Gary Gensler had just said it was like a commodity and that the others were securities, and yet, you know, every single regulatory government body wants to treat it as something that they have jurisdiction over. So, we're going to call it, the IRS will call it money, and the SEC will call it a security. And the fat F or others will call it a derivative or something else. And they'll call it whatever the hell they want because it is modern day extraction. It is the extraction theory of modern monetary theory. That's what it all is, folks. It's extraction all the way down. They have to extract some way, somehow. But can they? Bottom line, crypto is simply a fast-track mechanism to fleece retail investors, which is you, from your fiat, which you can escape from, possibly. The most unfortunate aspect of all of this is that crypto distracts people from Bitcoin. It creates FUD against Bitcoin, and it actually wrecks many early potential Bitcoiners. I've seen people that shied away from everything or anything or, Bitcoin because they saw a rug pull somewhere else, or they tried something once and it went down, number went down, or they got scammed or whatever. And then they're just like, oh, I tried that once. Oh, I know someone who got burned. So it just is a scourge upon humanity. These shit coins, it's a scourge upon Bitcoin. There's this is an old meme. This is Gary Gensler saying that all crypto assets are securities, and the lovely princess says, "Except stable coins." Except stable coins, right, Gary? Well, Gary's gone. I guess I could update these with Jerome Powell or something, but it wouldn't make the same sense. But at the time, I was like, well, what about the stable coins? Are there not useful needs for stable coins? I say no. And I've refined my thoughts about stable coins since I wrote this originally. Initially, I was just thinking it's tied to fiat. It could have its use cases. Anymore, what I see it as is basically the foundations or the tentacles of future CBDCs. It floats, treasuries. The governments, fiat governments like them, or at least try not to hate them because it's floating them. And there's a lot to talk about there. But for now, what I wrote was, are there not useful needs for stable coins? I say no. No, and eventually, definitely no. At this early stage of hyper-Bitcoinization, people living in impoverished nations desire to get rid of their local fiat and hold it in what they recognize as being stable, using the US dollar peg. So the dollar seems like it's more stable because they're so used to such worse rotten garbage. And I try not to judge that harshly, given the likely desperation involved there. The dollar as a global reserve currency, melting as it is, has been secured by proof of war, and the world's economic literacy is in the language of the empire. So it's tough when it's sort of like the dollar is kind of almost the best fiat, which is to say it's like the best of all the garbage. So it's like, well, there's better garbage over there. Let's go graze over there. Well, sorry, it's still fiat. And here's a funny meme I liked. And this was during the Biden years, so it was even more pertinent. But you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy, said Obi-Wan Kenobi as they looked down upon the swamp of the lobbying cover-up crime syndicate. This will eventually and naturally shift as the dollar melts and Bitcoin remains. Stablecoins are also useful for the swing traders, day traders, and scalp traders, which is quite simply gambling. Gamblers get wrecked. So holding is correct. Hodling. The greed-feeding hobby of trading will melt away with hyper-Bitcoinization and a cultural transition to lower time preferences. I had made a link here to what time preference is, but for you Bitcoiners, you know what time preference is about. High time preference or low time preference. Long-term time preference or short-term time preference. One would never exchange Bitcoin for fiat in a Bitcoin future. The melting dollar will obviously melt stable coins as well. And this was the money supply way back in, gosh, I got this graph from 2022. So it's gotten worse. Excuse me. whereas the Bitcoin money supply has only flattened. And I think we've now mined, I don't know, we're right around close to the 20 million out of 21 million. Whereas Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom, which is to say, how much US dollars could there be, mommy? As many as they want to make. So the easy part was taking crypto out with the garbage. Well, then what is Bitcoin, you ask? I say, very, very simply here. I'm just describing simple little ideas. Bitcoin stands alone. Bitcoin is not crypto and therefore is also not fiat. Bitcoin is better than digital gold with wings and warp speed. It is more than just a hedge against inflation of the current monetary system. It is an escape hatch. And I would say more than that, as I've come to understand it better from when I wrote this, it is the only sound money and store of value. With no owner or issuer, there was no pre-mine, no airdrops, no roadmap, no paid-off cheerleading, influencers, all the crappy people that get involved with it all and try to scam you. The rules are baked in. No government or corporation can seize a stake and exert influence. Users need not trust a third party. A private cartel of banks is not printing more of it, trillions a year on behalf of your government to fund wars across the world or to take away your liberty and your personal responsibility. Now, I know there are various attack vectors to Bitcoin. I also feel that Bitcoin is and remains quite anti-fragile. And what I'm glad about the arguments happening is that we are paying attention and we care. And so we shall keep Bitcoin alive. This was a graph I made that, if you can see it very well, the green, oh, what did I just do? Let me go back to that. Oh, that's another one wrong. Here we go. Sorry, I jumped around. I right-clicked or something. So this graph here, the span of control is the vertical here. This is like, just imagine there's like just a total amount of like control in the world, a span of control. And over time, heading left to right, we see this march from just sort of a, maybe we had no other choice, but as hunter-gatherer nomad people, our span of control was just whatever the hell we wanted to do. That said, our personal responsibility was absolute. So with great sovereignty comes great personal responsibility. At one point, maybe we had no choice other than like you do what you do during the day because you're going to live, right? But you are free. And then over time, on one hand, we have the kind of the public sector, say, where sovereigns occur, kings becoming governments and the tournament of kings evolving into our fiat government as we know it today. Modern day extraction, governmental extraction, through and through, complete legibility of every tiny little thing in a digital world. You are legible, you are tracked, you are extracted from everywhere. On the private sector, starting out with just, people who had crafts and trades and formed guilds and became corporations and became fiat corporations. On the private side, in modern ages too, it's like you get stuff you can get from them. They, decide things about how you do that. You sign end user license agreements. You agree to like, yes, take all of my data. I don't care. Sell it. Use me. You know me. Okay, and now anonymize me until you get hacked and you lose it. Anyway, public sector, private sector, they get more and more and more control over things. Now, much of this, it's not just taken from you by force. I mean, at times that certainly happens. Many, many times people give it away. They're happy to give it away. They're trading freedom for security and safety. Build that wall around us. We don't want to get hurt by the hordes. So sometimes it makes sense. Other times it's like, oh, I guess I don't have a choice, huh? No, you don't. And we hit this threshold where we're winnowing down into a ever boiling pot of hot water and the frogs are like, there's no escape. I don't know what to do. Come enter the invention of cryptography. In a digital age, cryptography started small, erupted quick, became freedom technology, freedom money. And suddenly we're in this golden age. We're entering this open space. It's like the further you look, the further you want to take responsibility, the more you can. And so opening this window here, we are entering a new paradigm of liberty, sovereignty, responsibility. This is my hopeful view on the future. I feel like cryptography does it, Bitcoin does it, other things do it too. So getting back to Bitcoin in my article, Bitcoin has a fixed supply enforced by the halvings and difficulty adjustments. It's an innovation unlike anything humanity has ever seen. Satoshi's white paper solved the Byzantine generals problem, and the globally distributed size of its proof of work makes it anti-fragile and impervious to attack. I should say not absolutely, but I just think that everybody's paying attention, so it is quite impervious. Satoshi's ability to remain pseudonymous, to set Bitcoin free once it was running, and to disappear immaculately was an incredible gift to us all. There's my fantastical view that I borrowed. I found somewhere years ago, somebody'd make this a Bitcoin citadel, a moat, a digital moat. Your security through cryptography secures your castle. No one may cross. So Bitcoin is freedom money for everyone. Bitcoin is hope for the future. I wrote that. Well, I started on it years ago. I kind of tinkered at it for a little while after that. And because I wanted to, I was enjoying the rabbit hole, if you will, the explorations I had. And you know how it is when you start to learn, you feel excited. And I think what happens to shitcoiners is that they start to learn and they feel excited and they're like, I could do even more with this, or I could I think there's an ego involved in stuff like I'm smarter than a lot of these people, or here's a new idea. Hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to make a copy. No one's thought of that before. You could make a copy of this. Or, hey, I just discovered Bitcoin and I'm here to improve it. I'm here to fix it. I was thinking about it for a few hours and, those blocks could be bigger, or those blocks could be faster, or, what's the current word? Web3, some other blockchain thing. How about AI? What else? Quantum. Let's call it quantum. Is there quantum? No, but let's call it quantum. Is it really AI? No, but let's call it AI. And we're gonna do Bitcoin AI chain. Anyway, there'll be other tropes that come down the road. The new thing, everything's got to have its new thing. There's always a new. It's to sell you on new ideas. So, and then I mean, obviously there's the meme coins, the things. So, new ideas. Hey, I know. Let's copy a blockchain and call it that, and suck suckers in. And we're not going to rug pull them. We're into this idea. Well, but now I'm bored. Oh, now there's that. Oh, yeah, okay. They're still in that. Oh, let's just pull out. Let's rug pull. Oh my gosh, we're rich. Well, we knew that the whole time. We were going to get rich if we rug pulled. So anyway, the great plague of shitcoinery. That's why I wrote that article. And I think also I wrote that, you go down the rabbit trail, you get excited, you're thinking about it, and you want to contribute. See, at the time, I didn't know how else to contribute. I can read my books, I can listen to podcasts, and I'm sitting there and I'm at my job and I'm just going, oh my goodness, like I want to, I can't get off zero anymore. I'm doing that as hard as I can. The staying humble part of the stacking sets is hard. So yes, stacking sets and then staying humble. And yet, as Jeff Booth has said many, many a time, what is the next thing you can do in Bitcoin? And for me, one of those early steps, aside from, getting off zero, reading books, listening to podcasts. Let me get off exchange. Okay, that's called self-custody. Let me get off self-custody. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, there's different ways. Oh, now I have a hardware wallet. Oh, now I have a piece of paper. Oh, let me think of all the interesting ways I could hide words. Let's do a thing. Let's and I was one of the little things I did over a weekend was write that article. I guess I had it saved for today to read because Robbie P has to reschedule. We had a random schedule, time zone miscalculation and busyness happening, and it couldn't happen. But Robbie's gonna the most toxic Bitcoiner rapper that I know. He's also says he's the most the most fiat minimalist rapper. He will come back, and we'll have him on. He'll be able to go live with me. So we look forward to that. In the meantime, thanks for tolerating me. That's my story today, folks. Bitcoin is not crypto. Bitcoin is not shitcoin.